All right, welcome. I just got back from a quick little workshop seminar on how to optimize men's testosterone. And everybody knows that we are facing a testosterone deficit in men. I think when we look back in the 1950s, I think from now until where we are right now, we're at about a 50% deficit in sperm quality and quantity. And men are facing more than ever, right? We see men in their 30s that are screaming, I need TRT. And like, this has never, ever happened before. I mean, when you look back over time, we're seeing a lot of gender issues. We're seeing a lot, we're seeing a lot of issues, right? Am I right? And so often as a health coach, I see so many guys that are just reaching for TRT. It's like this quick fix. And I don't think it's necessary. And really, we need to start looking at root cause issues. And I don't understand why doctors aren't doing it. Actually, I do. Functional MDs, so-called functional MDs, they're calling themselves functional medicine doctors, and they're simply prescribing TRT as the way to transform everything. And yes, it works and it does some things, but they're doing this because it's easy money and it's residual money. You got to come back every 2 weeks, right? And get a shot in your arm, or if you're doing pellets. And I think there is a time and a place where maybe it is a good thing. And maybe in the future, I might do it if I can just look at some of the longevity research and everything that's out there. And it makes sense if I need to feel more optimized. I think, listen, when we go into our 60s, 70s, like I want to feel virile and optimal, don't you? And so if that's what it's going to take and my levels are low and I can't do it naturally for some reason, then sure, why not? But I don't think we need to be reaching for it right away. And that's my big issue. So in this video, just over the next 10 minutes, I'm going to talk to you about 7 ways that you can raise your T naturally. And number 7 is a big one that nobody talks about. Even the workshop I was in at the other day, it kind of hovered around like some of the causes of it, but nobody's talking about how to actually do it. And it just, again, it blows my mind. So for those of you that don't know me, my name is Joel Evan. I am a former first responder of 15 years. I am also the best-selling author of the book, Ignite. If you want to learn about testosterone and how to increase it naturally, you want to learn how to lose weight and only work out 10 minutes a day, this is it. This book, I outline everything, the mindset, the diet, the strength workouts, everything that you want. So if you want to go grab that, it's on Amazon. You can grab that. It was a bestseller in 7 categories. Feel free to pick that up. Also, if you're live with me right now, drop me a comment. Let me know where you're at. And the last thing I'll say before I jump in is I am working on a first responder program. So if you're not in my first responder, you're a first responder, you're a man who wants to up-level your marriage and your relationship with your kids and build more connection, definitely join that group. It's a free Facebook group. Drop me a line. I'll let you know how to get in and I'll get you in there right away. So without further ado, let's jump into the 7 ways that I think men can raise T naturally. And I've seen it happen before. I had a client who was on TRT and his levels were still in the 400s. Now, listen, when you're below 300, that is when insurance will actually cover it so that your doctor can prescribe TRT. Even though men will feel miserable at 300, if you're at 300, your doctor ain't prescribing it. You got to be below. It's insane, but they won't do it because it's a whole cash cow system. It's ridiculous. So you'll feel miserable, but they won't do anything. So listen, I had a guy in the 400s who was on TRT, and we did some functional health things. And guess what? In a matter of 2 months, his testosterone levels shot up to, I believe, 1,500, which was a little too high. The normal range for men they like to see is anywhere from 300 to 1,200. So it's a big scale. But what most functional MDs, what I see them do is they're getting men to around 800, maybe 600, 800. 800 seems to be pretty optimal for men. So they've got them in that range. They like to look around 800. He was at 1,500. So it's pretty crazy what we did by just doing some of these functional practices that I've learned from my naturopath and mentor. And that was it, guys. We get him the right diet. We detoxed him. He did very little exercise, just, very little exercise if you're wondering. But a detox was a big part of what he did, and it skyrocketed his numbers. So that's what I'm going to get into. I'm going to get into the 7 things. And you know what? I'm even going to close it out with 7 supplements that you can use that will also help boost your T. And then we'll talk about the 7 lifestyle factors that I believe and have been clinically shown to raise T. So let's get into it. Number 1, intermittent fasting. Okay. Listen, if you're intermittent fasting, I just interviewed a fasting expert. If you're intermittent fasting because you're doing this because you think it increases autophagy, which is your cells being cleaned. So you're doing 16 hours of not eating and an 8-hour window of eating. I think that's great. It ties in with circadian rhythms. It ties in with just the compression of the eating window. Okay. Compressing that eating window is more in line and harmonious with just our daily rhythms, but it's going to do nothing for autophagy and actually cleaning the cells. So please don't even think this intermittent fasting is actually working in terms of fasting. It's not, but you're compressing your eating window, which is great. And we see a lot of metabolic downstream effects, and there's studies to show that. Here's the neat thing. When you do compress that eating window and you do fast, guess what? Testosterone goes up. Yeah, testosterone goes up. So it's a really nice way to give yourself a boost in testosterone. LDL might bump up too, which people are nervous about because they think that's the bad cholesterol. It's really not true. So don't fall into all that hype. But not only are you going to lose weight, everything metabolically is going to increase and get better. Your sleep's probably going to improve. By compressing that eating window to 8 to 10 hours, man, you're going to get some really good benefits. So I would definitely recommend that be number one where you start. The second thing, which no one's going to talk about because it's not fun or cool to talk about, is you need to get sun. You need to get out into the world and let the sun get into your body and into your system and touch your skin. We know that vitamin D is crucial. You can supplement with vitamin D3 if you're going to do it with K2 as well. We've seen vitamin D3 be all the rage for immunity, especially when it comes during the pandemic. We saw that. We see it also help with increasing testosterone levels. But one thing that people are doing, they're doing the supplement, but they're not even getting outside. Right now, it's overcast out here where I live. I'm still going to get outside, take off my shirt, and try to get 20 minutes daily of sunlight. That's really, really key. And that is also going to help tune in your circadian rhythms with your sleep and wake cycle. So that's really important, having the sunlight hit your eyes, having the sunlight hit your skin, getting that vitamin D. And actually the vitamin D3, the one we talked about that raises testosterone, it doesn't synthesize unless the sun is actually hitting your skin. So that synthesis is important, and it's not going to happen unless you actually have it hit your skin. So that's number two. Number three, talked about it already. Strength training is key. The doctor that I was at the workshop I was at last night was talking about, he said he recommended 4 days a week. I think that's right. When you look at just kind of with the CDC, which I don't think they're the best when it comes to giving us information, but just from their studies, and I think combined with NIH studies, we're looking at about 150, the people that we're seeing that are doing the best are getting 150 minutes of exercise weekly, a bare minimum, right? So kind of work backwards and look at what does that correlate, for a week. I think you're looking at like 22 minutes a day. That's just the bare minimum. The people that are really like looking optimal are doing double that. Yeah, they're doing like 300 to like 500. So just think about that in terms of your movement practice. Think about how much movement strength training do I need to get weekly. If you're just doing bare minimum, 150 divided by 7, or if you're going to do it in 5 days in a week, work backwards and see what you need to do. But the people that are doing optimal are like the 300 to 500. Okay. So strength training is key. Lift heavy weights. Super necessary, 4 days a week, right? Just do something simple. Push-pull exercise is huge. All right. Number 4, you got to avoid these plastics, these estrogen compounds. Phthalates are the worst, right? So look in all your personal care products. I just did a podcast with the women at Branch Basics. Branch Basics is a cleaning. They have natural, organic, non-toxic cleaning products that actually work. And we were just geeking out on all these products and how they are toxic. And these women had PCOS, all these hormone disruptors they were dealing with. One of the first things they did and like reverse most of their symptoms, including PCOS, which is a big one for women, was they simply got rid of their cleaning products. So switch to look at all your cleaning products, the things you have. I mean, even the flame retardants in our bedrooms and our mattresses and our clothes, you got to look at all these things. Over time, all of a sudden you're 30 years old, guys. And you're like, man, why am I not doing so well? Why is my T so low? Well, it's a 30-year combination of you just piling on crap in your body, and your liver and your detox systems can only do so much before it just gets overburdened. And then you start to feel crappy, sluggish. Guess what? You get married around 30, you get a house, you get kids, you're working shift work for all my first responders out there, and you feel like crap. And so you're just like, oh, I guess it just happens. It's part of the aging process. No, it's not. It shouldn't be. But the doctors out there are making it seem like it's normal. Yeah, it's just normal. No problem. Here's a pill. You'll be fine. Here's a pill. Here's some TRT. You'll be fine. TRT, guys, just remember this. And I see this with a lot of men that are doing TRT, and good for them, the ones that are getting some good effects. Sometimes the TRT is what you need to bump you into being less inflamed. And when you're less inflamed, you have more energy. And when you have more energy, then you go out and do that new habit that we all want you to do in terms of eating well and working out. But think about it like a gas tank with a hole in it. You got a gas tank with a hole in it, and instead of just plugging the hole, we're just pouring in more gas. And so, yeah, the car's running, but you ain't doing nothing for, you're not doing anything for the actual root cause. And that's what I'm all about, root cause issues. So that's what I'm a big fan of. So avoid these plastic, avoid these estrogens. Number 5, I know you're not going to like it. I talked about it last week. You got to reduce your alcohol consumption. If not don't drink any of it, but reduce it a lot. Look, if you're going to do some alcohol, look for those triple distilled alcohols. I think a lot of tequilas, a lot of those lighter ones will have that, the vodkas and stuff like that. I really just don't even do it anymore. I like a clean red wine from like Dry Farm Wines, and I'll drink some of those organic Dry Farm wines, the ones that use the biodynamic processes every now and then when I go out. At home, it's just not in the house. So you got to reduce that. If you look at sleep, which is going to be the next one I talk about, sleep is a huge one. We're not getting enough of it. And when you're drinking alcohol, it's fragmenting your sleep. So you might feel more relaxed, which is true because it increases GABA. But when you look at your sleep, even when I had one drink of clean wine, my sleep was wrecked. My HRV, which is my heart rate variability, my ability to recover was always tanked a day when I had only one glass of alcohol. So you got to reduce that. 6, sleep. Guys, you got to get sleep. 7 hours of sleep is what is tried and true for adults. Okay. So men, you need 7 hours of sleep. We see the numbers, even 6 hours. The difference between 6 and 7 hours is dramatic. Believe it or not. Look at Matthew Walker's book, Why We Sleep. It was profound to me. I didn't believe it. I was like, no way. The studies show if you're only getting 6 hours, it ain't great. And that's what I would usually get on as a first responder working swing shift. My schedule was 1500 to 2 in the morning. So 3 to 2 or 4 to 2, something like that. And it wasn't the best. It wasn't the worst. Better than the 2100 to 07 folks. But you got to get 7 hours. Do your best to get that. A lot of times I'd only get 5. And we just see things like testosterone dips, your decision-making dips, everything. So there's a dramatic difference between 6 and 7. Aim for 7 if you can. Some of the ways you can increase that is by, you can supplement with things like melatonin. You can supplement with things like reducing your blue light at night, and even changing your temperature to colder temperatures is going to help you get into deep sleep faster, even when you're a first responder and you can't get those 7 hours of quality. Here's number 7. This is the last and the big one that no one's talking about. You got to detox. You got to do a liver detox. I talk about a lot of my practice. I do this with all the men that I work with. It's so profound. They don't understand that liver, gallbladder, that's where these hormones are being produced from. You need to clear that out. I just told you earlier, the toxins, it overburdens the liver. The liver can't keep up with it. So now it creates these obesogens, which are like fat toxins in your cells. And the cycle continues, guys. So we've got to get these toxins out of it. And the only way we can do that is by supporting the liver, supporting drainage and detox. And I can tell you, I can teach you how to do that. It's not that hard. Just join my group, reach out to me, drop me a line, and I'm happy to walk you through the process. I talk about it in my book, Ignite, as well. So just reach out to me, shoot me an email, info@joel11coaching, drop me a line, reach out to me, DM me, and I'm happy to kind of talk you through these processes and how you can do the detox. It's natural. It's just based on Ayurvedic and functional medicine practices. And nobody talks about this, I guess, because they want to sell you TRT. I don't know. I just think like so much can be done. And listen, if your numbers, if they're above and they're like the 500s and stuff, I think you're doing fine. And maybe there's some other things we can optimize. If you have to do TRT, again, it's all good. I just don't think it needs to be your first line of defense. So you got to detox. It's extremely powerful. Now, let's jump into the 7 supplements that if you wanted to augment or amplify what you're doing and increase that T, amongst all the lifestyle factors we're talking about, Here's the ones I'm going to give you. I think you need magnesium. Number one, magnesium is calming for the body. It's going to help with sleep. It is responsible for 300 enzymatic processes in your body. Okay. And most of us are all deficient. We need magnesium. It helps synthesize things like vitamin D3 that I mentioned earlier. You got to have magnesium, and that's going to have a downstream effect with testosterone, lower blood pressure, vasodilation. That's another word for increasing your blood vessels. And you're going to want that if you want higher libido, better woodies, all that kind of stuff, right? So magnesium is great. Calming effects, opens that vasodilation. Vitamin D3 is the next one. I'm going to tell you, you got to have that. That has been shown, proven. I would get 4,000 to 5,000 IU. I don't know you. This is not, I can't recommend for everybody. I'm just giving the general recommendations for the most average person. But check that out. Vitamin D3 with K2. Got to have that or it's going to calcify in your arteries. The third one that I would do that I like is ashwagandha. Again, very calming. And also, most of us are stressed out, right? Cortisol is going through the roof. We are redlining all the time. Ashwagandha is a natural herb that's going to help bring all that body system down, bring us back into parasympathetic system, the rest and digest. And that's going to help lower cortisol. When cortisol goes up, we get worse sleep. We're stressed out. Cortisol goes up, testosterone goes down. So ashwagandha is a natural herb that's going to help. Studies have shown that that works even just, I think, over about a 3-month period. And the studies show about 500 milligrams daily. So at least 500 milligrams. And, to be honest, you could go probably 500 milligrams 2 to 3 times a day. So 1,000 to 1,500. Again, I'm not a doctor. I'm a health coach. I can't recommend this for anybody. This isn't medical advice. It's just what I see in the literature and just some of the things you could do. So check out ashwagandha. And if you want supplement recommendations or my favorite brands, reach out to me, info@joelevin.coaching. Drop me a line here. I'll reach out to you in Messenger or on DM, and I can help you out with that. Number 4, melatonin. I like a liquid melatonin. It's going to help with sleep. Plenty of studies show that melatonin helps with hormone regulation for men and women, and it's going to help increase that T. 5 would be Tongat Ali, Chinese herbs, also been shown and been a powerful optimizer for T. Number 6 would be maca. There's some research this Peruvian herb has been used to increase T. That'd be another one I'd add in the mix. And then in terms of just the last, number 7, you got to have zinc. Zinc, vitamin D3, and magnesium. If you were just taking those 3, really, they work synergistically. Powerful combo. So I would definitely get all 3 as a basis, then melatonin, and then look into those Chinese herbs. Ashwagandha is my favorite. I love that one. Just really, really good. So zinc, we see men with low T. And just, when a long time ago, I had a zinc deficiency. I'm going to have my metals ran again and my mineral levels. And I was taking zinc. I was working shift work and I was taking zinc twice a day. And my lab showed I was still low on zinc. I also have a DNA that kind of creates that, just so you know. So my DNA pathways are not optimized for zinc. That could be a reason, but I think it was just the amount of stress I was putting on my body daily. And so I was someone taking it twice a day and I still was low. So below normal. I was slightly below normal. So zinc is really, really critical. Guys, I hope this was helpful. Just a review of everything, the 7 we talked about. Number 1, compress your eating window, intermittent fasting. Aim for 8 hours a day, 10 maybe at the minimum. Do that. Get sunlight, get vitamin D3. Number 3, strength training 4 times a week. Number 4, you got to avoid those plastics, phthalates, all the toxins you're being, look at your deodorant. Look at the things you put on your face, your cleaning supplies, all that stuff. Get it out. Number 5 is going to be reduce your alcohol consumption or don't drink at all. Number 6, you got to optimize your sleep. Most of us first responders can't get that. You're probably averaging 5 hours on your shift the days you're working. Try to bump it to 6. 7 is what we want to really aim for adults. 7, detox. You got to detox. And if you want help with that, reach out to me and I'm happy to help. All right, that's it. I hope this was super helpful for you guys. I don't think we need to just have a knee-jerk reaction and rush to testosterone replacement therapy. It has its time and place. I'm not against it completely. It has a lot of cardioprotective health benefits for the heart. And I think, some men can just have an optimal more living as they age, and we can age gracefully. So I think there's a time and place for it, but it shouldn't be something you reach to right away. Hope this was helpful. Reach out to me, drop me a line. Let me know how I can help you. and in any way I can. Much love.